Got a request, special request from somebody out there that was watching my video. They watched my Conor McGregor video and they wanted me to do a segment on Jake Paul and Tyron Woodley. If you know, I did Conor McGregor and I was asked to do Jake Paul by this guy or girl. I'm not for sure. When you ask, I deliver. So today we're going to do Jake Paul. We're going to do both their thoughts leading up to the fight. How do they feel about one another? What do they need to know? We're going to get a prediction in. Who is going to win this fight? Anyway, what makes this interesting to me is my birthday is January 17th. Jake Paul's birthday is also January 17th. He's a Capricorn. I fuck with you. Tyron Woodley, his birthday is April 7th, which makes him an Aries. What's crazy about this fucking shit? My birthday is January 17th. I'm a Capricorn. My mom's birthday is April the 7th. She's an Aries. Makes this even more interesting to me is my ex-girlfriend is in Aries. I'm gonna be real with you. As a Capricorn, as an earth sign, what I've noticed is me and fire signs and Aries particular, we don't mesh. So this is an interesting battle. Capricorn versus an Aries. To be honest, I'm pulling for the Capricorn. So go Jake Paul. I don't know the answers to these questions. I'm about to find out just like you guys. What is Jake Paul's thoughts leading up to the fight, please and thank you? Damn. Okay. I feel you, Jake. What is Tyron Woodley's thoughts leading up to the fight, please and thank you? Oh, wow. I'm gonna let that go. They gave me one specific card for Jake Paul. They gave me a story for Tyron Woodley. I really wanted one, but I'm gonna go ahead and take the three that they gave me for Tyron Woodley because it's actually telling me a story. The thoughts leading up to this fight. The thoughts with Jake Paul leading up to this fight is chaos. Fight. He's thinking about this fight. He's thinking about a lot of fucking fights, actually. I see a lot of fights, not only just this fight, which makes me feel like he's not focused on Tyron Woodley. Because he got the 5 of Wands. He's thinking about fighting everybody. He's not focused on Tyron Woodley. That's a problem. Now, when I look at Tyron Woodley, this motherfucker's focused. Yeah, he's focused. And not only is he focused, he has money in the back of his mind. He's a warrior. He's in this Knight of Swords energy, and that means he coming to cut somebody's head off. I hate to say it in that way, but that's the way they gave it to me. Meaning, yeah, he want to fuck somebody up. Not saying Jake Paul don't either, but Jake Paul is thinking about, he's not focused on his fight. He's thinking about other fights. He's like, yeah, after this fight, I'm going to go fight such and such, and I'm going to get this. He's got a lot of fights going on up there. Those are his thoughts leading up to the fight. His thoughts are, what's fight next? I want to fight this person. I'm going to fight. Whereas Tyron Woodley is focused. Laser focused. Like Jake Paul is sitting right here with like there's this 4 pentacles like this. Imagine that as Jake Paul. And he's sitting there holding his money. He got his crown on his head. 1 pentacle here, and 2 pentacles under his feet. But he don't see because he's focused. He's facing this way. And if Jake Paul is facing this way in the present and he's thinking about all these fights that's going to come in the future, Tyron Woodley is coming in at like a Knight of Swords on a horse with a sword to come fuck him up. And Jake Paul is not even prepared. He's just holding some coins. He's holding his money. I got all this money. But he's not prepared for this ass kicking that Tyron Woodley is thinking about. My question was, what are the thoughts leading up to the fight? Jake's thoughts are, I want to fight fucking everybody. I want to fight. I want to fight this person. I'm going to fight this person. Tyron Woodley's thoughts are, I'm focused on him and I'm going to go kick his ass and I'm going to go get that money. That's the difference, all right? I just told you who I was going for. So this is disappointing for me. How does Jake Paul feel about Tyron Woodley? How does Tyron Woodley feel about Jake Paul? The way Jake Paul feels about Tyron Woodley. Those mental blockages and thoughts that he have in his head. The way he feels about Tyron Woodley is he knows he can't get inside of his head, but he's not going to run away. Jake Paul feels like he can't get inside of Tyron Woodley's head, and he knows Tyron Woodley won't run away. He knows Tyron Woodley is looking forward to and loves that fight and wants that fight. He knows Tyron Woodley is coming to that fight relaxed. everything, all his mental blockages, everything that's on his mind. He knows that shit is not going to be on Tyron Woodley's mind. So as much as Jake Paul is over here thinking about other fights or whatever, he knows Tyron Woodley isn't doing that. Tyron Woodley, what he thinks about Jake Paul is he has the strength card, meaning Jake Paul is putting his hand inside of a lion's mouth and don't know he's going to get it bit the fuck off. As I'm reading these cards and reading these sides, I'm like, damn, did I pick the wrong fighter? Because Tyron Woodley, his thoughts are like a really fucking fighter. Whereas this kid or this guy, I don't even watch this shit like that. This guy though, he seems like he's more of entertainment and whatever. I don't fucking know, but it's just like he knows Tyron Woodley coming to this shit for a battle. Tyron Woodley is so like, when I look over here at his side, it is like just so precise and put together so well. When he think of him like, I know that I can fuck this kid up, but I need to be careful so I don't get my hand bitten off. The strength card is a lion and a woman caressing this lion as she puts her hands inside his mouth to take it out. Tyron Woodley knows he has confidence, but he also isn't going to do anything to let this lion bite his hand off. He's caressing it, but he also, on the other flip side of that, he feels like Jake Paul is somebody who's going to get his hand bit off. On the flip side, he feels like he's the lion and he's going to bite Jake Paul's hands off. He also feels like, don't let my hand get bit off. Crazy, right? He's feeling both ways. Don't let my hand get bit off. But he feels like he's going to bite Jake Paul's hand off. This is metaphorically, okay? Like, I'm not saying this guy's accountable and all of that shit. Like, I'm just trying to tell you what I'm reading through the cards, right? What does Jake Paul need to know, please and thank you? So what just happened was, I asked, what does Jake Paul need to know? The Three of Swords landed right on top of the strength card, which was on Tyron Woodley's side. Not upright. It's slowly on its way down into reverse. Or it could be coming from down in reverse to up. What does Jake Paul need to know? Why did Jake Paul Three of Swords land on Tyron Woodley's strength card? Because there's going to be some type of heartbreak there. There's going to be some type of heartbreak. Heartbreak. What does Tyron Woodley need to know, please and thank you? This is what I'm starting to think before I even get to the prediction. Tyron Woodley's going to beat Jake Paul. After he beat Jake Paul, his UFC career is going to be like, it's going to kind of move. Right now, I think it's stagnant. It's just, the card landed like this, slightly on upright. So right now, his career is probably super stagnant, like a flat line. He beats Jake Paul, then it turns just a little bit. When I see this card, I think of like UFC. Whatever person that has his contract, whoever has his contract, it goes up just a little bit. Him beating Jake Paul, I'm already saying that and I hadn't got to the prediction. I think it helps his career kind of move from that stagnant spot and it just turns up a little bit. It turns up just a little bit. So let's get to this prediction part. Who wins this fight? Jake Paul or Tyron Woodley? Give me the sign. Who wins this fight, please and thank you? The person I feel like wins this fight is Tyron Woodley. The reason I say Tyron Woodley wins this fight, I know I kind of thought that way earlier when I'm just looking at these cards. Let me explain to you. This is Jake Paul's mind. This is how he feels about Tyron Woodley. It's in reverse. Like he ain't running from him. But as you can see, Tyron Woodley is coming into this fight. Jake Paul's thinking about so many fights. Not just Tyron Woodley's fight. He's thinking about the future fights and shit like that. Tyron Woodley has his boat in these swords. And he's rowing towards Jake Paul. See, the only way Tyron Woodley could come into Jake Paul is if he goes in reverse. Because if he goes upright, Tyron Woodley's going away from the fight. But if he goes in reverse, guess what he's doing? All those fights Jake Paul are thinking about in his brain, Tyron Woodley's coming in. And guess what happens? I asked, who's going to win this fight? Guess who has the last swords? Tyron Woodley standing right here with all the swords in his hands that he brought to that fight. That's one guy kicking everybody's ass. Tyron Woodley wins. And I picked Jake Paul. Congratulations, Aries.